Mazzaroth Decode 3. Welcome back, family. Let's dig in. First place we're going, Stellarium. We're looking at P 2019 Y3 Catalina. And we are looking at an alignment with the heart of the sea serpent, and we can track this asteroid back. Let's go ahead and do that really quick. I just want to show you that, this is a comet. This comet, if we track it back, we can see a pattern that began here on 7/10. We're looking basically at midnight on 7/10. We see that the comet made its first approach, and then we're going to go ahead and watch as it goes through Eridanus, and it makes its second pass through Eridanus. And I believe this is Fornax, yes. So I'm going to have to do a breakdown on this because this is really important. I'm going to probably have to just add this in a community post. I just got this pulled up. I've been going through all of my asteroids and comets, and there's just so much work that it takes time to get to these things, and I finally pulled up the track for Comet Catalina, and I'm just now getting to this the day that I am releasing this alignment, and I haven't had a chance to go back and do the details on this, so we will dig into that. But you can see that it has gone through the river twice, and now it's going through the furnace, or it's marking the furnace by its traveling around it. So let's go ahead and move forward, and we can watch how now the comet has struck the heart of the sea serpent, and we'll go ahead and get this pulled up. So here we are, we're looking at the second strike. Again, 7/10/2024, and now again this comet has struck the heart of the sea serpent, Cetus. And there's some very important signs that we just posted about, I believe 2 days ago. Before we get there, I'm going to go ahead and show you the rest of this path, and I want you to take a very close look at the path of this comet. Again, it marked Cetus twice, and now what we're going to look at is this comet is going to now transition to the head of the sea serpent, And if you remember, we were talking about Davida, Asteroid Davida, yesterday. I believe it was late last night. Davida aligned with the head star of Cetus, and we're going to go ahead and look at this alignment here, and we can see how this is a very, very important alignment here. We're looking at Asteroid Davida and Comet Catalina, marking the head of the sea serpent. And this is on the 22nd when Catalina. And then if we just go back, we can see how this comet is inside of the head, and so is Davida. And if we just move forward, we can see how Davida begins to exit the head, and now this comet exits, and essentially it's happening within the same 24-hour period. And this was a very, very important sign to me, because this is happening with the sign of Davida, and we were talking about Michael, and this being part of the sign of Michael, chopping off the head of Cetus like a David and Goliath moment. And this is another supporting sign at the head of Cetus. We can see how if we let's go ahead and move this forward. I want you to watch the path. We're going to continue with this path of Catalina. Sometimes these comets will disappear on me if I go hunt something else, and so I want to just continue with this work. And I want you to pay attention where it goes after it passes the head of the sea serpent. Okay. This is very, very important for us to see how the heavens, they are all connected, and all of these signs that we're getting with these comets and these asteroids, family, this is the most amazing stuff I've ever seen in my life. Look, this comet is aligning with Perseus, and it's happening on the 15th at 4:20 a.m. This is aligning with Perseus. Now look at what is in Perseus' hands. He has the shield and the head of Medusa, the serpent queen. So this is an associated sign with the sign that we see here of the sea serpent's head being marked. And we can see that the job gets completed on 3/15. We are looking at, let's get it right up on here, and now we can have the exact time. So we're looking at 4:19. Catalina aligns with Perseus, on the 15th of March. Now again, family, the signs that we were talking about with Mars standing up, this is part of those signs. This is a representation of Michael cutting the head off of the serpent. And the serpent can be seen in the feminine as Medusa. And so let's go ahead and go back, and we're going to look at this alignment here of the heart. And now we're going to go to Davida, and we're going to be taking a look now at the alignments of Davida. So here we are looking at Davida making its transition, and we're going to look and see as Davida enters into the head of Cetus. And as we go through the days, we can see how Davida is marking the head of Cetus. And now we see, again, we see Davida aligning with the head of the serpent. Again, this is the sea serpent, and we have Catalina right there. And it's doing its job, but you can see how it just disappears if I'm not rolled in. So we have Davida now exiting the head of the sea serpent, and we can see how Davida now heads directly for the Taurus constellation and makes a very important alignment here on 414 with the Bull Taurus. And we can see how Jupiter is directly between the horns of Taurus. Again, I believe that this is already into the tribulation, that we are seeing the bull, which can be a representation of war, and the king is between the horns, and David can be seen as a sign of the warrior, and this can also be a representation of Mars, which is Michael. So let's look. This is actually making its alignment on the 15th of April, and we are seeing another David and Goliath moment where now David becomes the bull. This is the bull rush, the war in heaven. And we can see how the signs are in the sun and the moon and the stars. Everything is aligning. Look at the location of Venus and the sun. Now let's go ahead and move back, and we can see how Davida in our time right now is marking the head of Cetus, and again we have the comet marking the heart of Cetus, and we're getting the signs of the war in heaven, and things are about to really heat up in the heavens with the war of Michael, and we have already broken down a lot of those signs that are associated with this Michael war over the serpent, and we just keep getting more signs. I want you to look at the location of the moon and Jupiter in the constellation of Taurus, and we can see as Davida is marking the head of Cetus and the Catalina is marking the heart of Cetus, we have Jupiter and the moon aligned. And these are all really important signs that are associated not only with the war in heaven, but also continuing the marriage signs, because the bride is aligned with the king. Okay, now we're going to go to Alexandra. And we're going to be taking a look at Alexandra. And I don't have this time, so let me run through this. And I want you to take a look at this alignment right here, family. This is very important alignment that we have here. Alexandra is in the Perseus constellation. Okay, so we can see she was just on the border. Take a look at that border. Okay, come on. Okay, you can see she's just in the border of Perseus. So we have Alexandra aligning with Pleiades. Remember, this is the chamber of the bridesmaids. Again, this is a marriage sign, but it's also associated with the Mars-Michael signs, because Alexandra is in Perseus. And this alignment is showing us an association with the beast being beheaded and the bride, and how there is an association with Michael standing up and the escape of the bride. So let's take a look really quick at some codes. This is Alexandra. And we have Asteroid Alexandra equals April Fool's Day. Adam and Eve, the Holy Bible is a code. Serpent head be bruised. The snake has been beheaded. Okay, fam. There is no way that anybody can ever tell me that these numerical codes don't align to the things that we're seeing in the heavens, and that the names of these asteroids are not encoded spiritually so that we get a message. I believe that the Father is in control of everything, and He has a way of encoding all things for us to discover. This is proof that everything we're seeing in the heavens and with these codes are aligned with the storyline. The snake has been beheaded. Godlike productions. Final countdown. 1,000 years. Event horizon. Nazareth, I'm back. God in a beautiful garden. The time of Sirius. Luciferes, Luciferin. If you don't know what those are, look them up. The copycat God. We know that Satan is only a thief and he steals, and everything that has been done by this fallen one is nothing but a copycat of the prime creator. Puppet master. Tree bear be good fruit. Decode the key of David. Now again, family, we're looking at Asteroid Davida, and these things are all aligned. October 7th, the war in Israel, fam. This is all connected. Moon, moon, moon. Okay. We can't make any of these things up. Alexandra is giving us the Michael War. It's also pointing to the bridesmaids, and we can see that Jupiter is now out of retrograde motion. You can look this up, family. Jupiter on the 5th stood still, and on the 6th it makes its forward motion. So now we are seeing Jupiter marching forward as if the king is going to war, because of where he stands at the horn of Manasseh, or I'm sorry, the horn of Ephraim. We now have a possibility of this representing the trumpet. This looks to be a representation of the trumpet call. And again, as above, so below. These things do not happen right away in most cases. They are signs of things that are about to transpire. Now, some of them happen very quickly, and some of them obviously take years to develop. So I believe we are seeing the pace signs increase to the point where child and the birth pangs getting closer and closer and closer and closer, and sometimes you get road signs as you're coming up to an exit. Sometimes you get a mile out, you see a sign, and then you get one that says 2, and then then you get an exit sign that says next exit, and then you finally have the exit sign. And that's how I see the Mazzaroth, is trying to give us enough time to get the warning out to the people for them to look up or to be able to get these messages about what we're seeing in the sun and the moon and the stars, because they're all playing part in this grand story, and Alexandra is screaming a message to us at a time when there's a lot of confusion about the time that we're in. Some people believe that it can only happen on major Jewish feast days, and so some people aren't even looking out until Passover. And there are so many things happening right now in the heavens that we need to be focused and looking up day by day. I am looking out into the month of March, but I am seeing signs every day for our possible escape. I just, because of the nature of the work I do, I'm always looking out to see what's next. And some of those signs are so powerful, it makes me believe that we can't escape until we get to these signs, because these signs are part of the story. And so I believe this Alexandra sign is a connection to the comet that aligns on the 15th. I believe we have a very, very important week coming up between March the 14th and March the 21st. And I believe that is when all of our signs are going to culminate. But again, I could be wrong. We could be leaving at any moment, at any day. The signs are all pointing to a grand escape happening very, very soon, fam. So let's move on. Our next sign is Vesevlada. And we can see how this asteroid is aligned with the Manasseh horn. And that's why I was getting confused with my language, because I was just doing this, pulling all this information up. And we have an alignment essentially with both horns of Taurus, and you can see that this asteroid makes a very close approach to that star, and we can see here that it essentially aligns with the star, and this is Vesevlada aligning with the horn of Taurus that represents Manasseh. And look at the location of the moon at this time of alignment. This is at the foot of Arica, the shepherd, which is a representation of Christ, with Jupiter at the horn of Ephraim, fam. This is unbelievable signs in heaven that we're getting. Let's dig into these codes for Vesevlada and asteroid Vesevlada equals world currency. Now is come the trumpet. Please, family, anybody who doubts that these codes are aligned, I'm calling out to you. Please pay attention. This is all numerical equivalents these are God's encrypted codes. You are crowning. Frequency weapon. Invisible war. Black plague is next. Order of Melchizedek. The planet Venus. 10 crowns on its horns. Break the matrix code. I am activating all codes for rapture. See 7th gate code. I'm Ophiuchus David. Okay. Again, Ophiuchus represents Michael. And we see here that Ophiuchus is representing David now. This is a David and Goliath war. This is Michael as a representation of David about to go to war with Goliath, the sea serpent. 11th Stargate, countdown to ascension. Bring down the matrix grid. My God is Jesus Christ. Ma'at overpowers Isis. Magnetic pole shift, the serpent's gate, the way home, or face the fire. Family, these things are all aligning for our signs in the heavens. We're seeing everything that we need to see, and we're getting all the details. The war in heaven is about to kick off, and the escape of the bride is right on the cusp. We have way too many signs that are aligning, and now we're going to go to main Franken, and this is another asteroid, and we are looking at main Franken. Oh, we just had a new comet discovery. Here we go. I love when this happens. This is 65P. We'll look at that in just a second. That's 65P gun. You can't make it up. It's just crazy. The way that this all works is it's just crazy, family. Every day I'm blown away at the things that I find in heaven. The discoveries in the Mazzaroth are almost too much for the mind. It's almost too much. Okay, main Franken, aligning with the exit of the Hoopa, but it also is in alignment with Ophiuchus Michael. Main Franken is representing Michael the Archangel. Let's look at the codes. Asteroid main Franken equals the truth, the mark of the beast, man of lawlessness, deep state humiliated. He talks to bride of God. See, the lion is roaring. See, I'm buying Lucifer, Barack Obama, Iranian mothership, 7 trumpets, a rise of the phoenix, the Vitruvian man. If you don't know, the Vitruvian man is encoded with the Great Pyramid, and it's also encoded with the 314 math. That is another 0.23.14, which is Purim this year. The Lord returns. Dimensional portal. Jesus, take the wheel. Father, Son, Spirit. Sagittarius God code. Describe the rapture. Speed of rapture is a Ophiuchus rising. Main Franken. Ophiuchus. Okay, fam. There she goes. I did not have this on my radar, and so I do not have any data for this. This is 6P gun. Again, you can't make it up. This is aligning tomorrow. This will give me some time to get all my codes done for this. But what we're looking at is tomorrow 65P gun aligning with Ophiuchus, and I will bring out the details on this tomorrow with the codes and everything associated. This is a brand new comet that I have not had on my radar. 65P gun. And that is a perfect representation of what's about to happen to the sea serpent, the scorpion, and all of the dragons. They're about to get the gun. Okay, fam. Next, we're going to look at Psyche. Again, we'll get to this tomorrow. Our next sign is the Psyche alignment. And what we're going to be looking at is there's Psyche. Let's just see if we can scroll in if it'll show us. It's not showing us. Sometimes it just does this, even though I've pulled them up, because it doesn't remember. But we can see here we have Psyche and Enki aligning. And let's go ahead and take a look at Meridian. So we have the alignment here of Enki and Saturn. And we're looking at Enki marking Saturn with Psyche there. And this is happening this morning at basically 2:30. We have Enki and Saturn aligning with Psyche there. This is a representation of Satan, because Enki is the devil, the serpent in the garden. Saturn is also a representation of Satan. And we have the soul or Psyche there. And this is happening in the constellation of Aquarius. And Saturn is the ruling planet of Aquarius. And so we can see that the waters being poured out could be a representation of war and strife and evil. And this can be a sign of the tribulation to come. This is a very important alignment because we're getting a sign of tribulation. And the next place we're going is the sun, the bridegroom, and we're looking at a very important alignment. I believe this happens here, yes. So we're looking at the alignment of the sun and the chamber of resurrection, and this is on the 6th. This is the time that the sun becomes the capstone for the resurrection chamber. And this is associated with that Stargate Decode. This is the sun now at the second chevron, and this is part of the unlocking of the Stargate. And we see Mercury the messenger representing Gabriel the archangel. It can also represent Enoch in the temple of resurrection. And we also have it as a representation of Anubis. And we can see how this is a continuing theme of iPet Goat 2. They're showing us this in the ending scenes of the movie with the sun and the fish going into the boat family. This is a representation of the resurrection of the dead. And I believe there's a high possibility that the dead will rise during the full moon of either February or March. And I'm getting a lot of signs that it is going to happen during the snow full moon. And the reason I say that is in my iPet Goat decodes, I see a representation of resurrection happening directly after the Super Bowl. And if the 9th is the Super Bowl, then the 12th is the day of the full snow moon. And if you look in the depiction of iPet Goat 2, you'll see that there's snow everywhere. And then there is a rising of a dead one at the full moon, a innocent child rising at the full moon. So regardless of what mom is or what dad is or what their religion is, it's an innocent child. It's being raised from the dead. And that image is showing predictive programming, snow everywhere. And that is in alignment with the snow moon of February, which happens on the 12th. I just posted about it in my community page. So we're getting another sign of resurrection, and I believe this is the resurrection of the dead. I believe the resurrection of the dead happened first, and I believe this is what is called the first resurrection. So now we're going to Leontina. And we are looking at asteroid Leontina, and we're looking at a very special alignment here. We're seeing Leontina mark Neptune with Iris and Venus there. And it's actually a closer alignment for tomorrow. This is the alignment. I forgot it's this Leontina alignment is early in the morning tomorrow morning. We're looking at Leontina, Iris, Venus. This is the bride, because Venus is an evening star still, the bride with the eye of God, and Leontina marking Neptune. And we just looked at these codes over the last couple days, so I'm not going to bring them up. I have brought all these out. You can go look at the community posts and you'll see them. But this is the alignment of Leontina. This is a representation of the lion bride. And this alignment with Neptune is very, very special, because we're looking at Neptune being in the underworld. And yesterday we showed how Iris and Neptune aligned, and now we're showing Leontina aligning with Neptune. And we talked about the underworld and the heavens, and this can be a representation of the bride in heavens, the lion's bride, Leontina. This is a representation of the lion's bride, because Venus is the bride and Iris is the eye of God. He's watching the whole thing. This is all in the constellation of Pisces. We're looking at a sign to the eastern fish, and we can see this as our completed story for the 6th into the morning of the 7th. I will be coming back tomorrow, and we will drop the rest of the signs for the 7th. Thanks for coming, family. Keep looking up. We are getting amazing signs every day, every minute, every hour. Keep looking up. The escape of the bride is on the doorstep.